Señor Dios Todopoderoso derrame sobre nuestra familia y nuestro hogar un bálsamo de paz. Que su Santo Espíritu ingrese en nosotros y se lleve cualquier enfermedad, tristeza, melancolía, rencor y deje su agua viva para que su entusiasmo por la vida se desborde y cumpla todo aquello que nos hemos propuesto. Que el Señor bendiga nuestro entorno, nuestras finanzas, nuestros planes y proyectos. Nos haga florecer y ser de bendición para quien está cerca a nosotros. Así sea en el nombre del Padre, del Hijo y del Espíritu Santo. Amén. Muy buenos días para todos ustedes. Gracias por mantener su sintonía con el mundo a las 7. Bienvenido una vez más a su entrega aquí del mundo a las 7. A todo el que está con nosotros directamente desde casita, a través de WTN, a través de MSR, a través de TEL TV en San Martín, a través de TVCARIB TV en la isla de Bonaire, los que están en Belice, los que están en Aruba y en Curazao y San Martín parte francés. Muy buenos días para todos ustedes. Buenos días a los que están a través de las redes sociales, tanto en San Martín, en Ceba, en Estesia, en Anguila, todo el que está a través de las redes sociales, en Saint Kitts, en Dominica, en Saint Vincent, San Croix, San Tomás, Puerto Rico, República Dominicana, todo el que esté en Anguila, en Sembat también, muy buenos días para todos ustedes. Los que están en España, en Francia, en Holanda, en Estados Unidos, en Canadá, en Colombia y en Panamá. De igual manera los que están en Venezuela, muy buenos días. Esto es una entrega más que el Señor nos ha permitido estar aquí con ustedes y le damos las gracias cada día. Así que de esta manera nosotros le damos inicio a lo que es su programa El Mundo a las 7. Recordándoles a todos los que están en las redes sociales que le den like, compartan, etiqueten y posteen sus banderitas de donde es su nacionalidad y de donde está residiendo actualmente. Recordándoles también a todo el que esté en casita que puede contactarnos a través del 554-5601. Ahí usted puede mandar sus banderitas, los que están en casita, que no nos pueden ver a través de las redes sociales. Pueden también decir los buenos días, cualquier mensaje que usted quiera enviar, cualquier felicitación usted puede hacerlo por aquí también. Eso es para las personas que están en casita. Cualquier saludito que usted quiera darle a mi compañero Prince, que todavía no ha llegado, pero está en camino con Dios mediante. Usted puede hacerlo también a través de nuestro teléfono de estudio. También puede usted llamar y saludar a alguien que sabe que está viendo el programa, también puede hacerlo. Así que vamos a postear banderita, que no estoy viendo las banderitas. Vamos a ver, no estoy viendo las banderitas. Los buenos días. Vamos con a quién tenemos ya en las redes sociales. Tenemos a Yoyo. Good morning. Mariluz Rodríguez Martínez, también buenos días y bendiciones para este jueves. Good morning de Nadine Suárez, Evita Eva Bunting, dando los buenos días. El señor Cedrito Ortega, we waiting morning folks. Ay, buenos días para usted, Cedrito. Buenos días para Ingrid, allá en Francia. Bendiciones para ti, mi amor. Antolina Fermín, muy buenos días, bendiciones desde lo alto para ustedes hoy. Muchas gracias, bendiciones recíprocas para mi vecina Antolina. Carol McKay también dando las bendiciones en el día de hoy y posteando sus banderitas. Esterida Hartson de igual manera dando los buenos días, posteando sus banderas. Melania Lauren dando los buenos días y las bendiciones son recíprocas para todos ustedes. Para mi vecino Antonio Richardson también buenos días. Melania Lauren posteando sus banderas. Minerva Maduro ahí está posteando banderita. Vamos a continuar posteando las banderas, compartiendo también y dando like. Evita Eva Bunting ahí está posteando sus banderitas. Arma Charles Está good morning everyone, blessing, y muchas flores y muchas caritas. Georgina Baez, ahí está posteando sus banderitas, gracias. Martin Anunnaki también, good morning one, our hope all is well and safe, y posteando sus banderitas. También Michelle morning Michelle. Georgina Bay, Dios te bendiga, bendiciones recíprocas para usted. Buenos días, Junior Rondón, también Ingrid Laureano posteando sus banderas. San Martín, claro, la comunidad china. Ay, Dios mío, la comunidad china. También muchas bendiciones, buenos días para la comunidad china. Voy a poner un letrerito, San Martín Anunnaki. Para María Crispín, ahí está, que está dando los buenos días y posteando las banderas. Vamos a compartir también, señores. Vamos a darle a Junior Rondón, ahí está posteando sus banderitas. Y quiero darle los buenos días especial también a una pareja de esposos que están en casita viendo el programa, pero ellos lo ven en la noche. Es que tienen el tiempo para verlo en la emisión de la noche. Así que para la señora Beverly y el señor Vigal, espero que hayan tenido un excelente día. Muchas bendiciones para ustedes. Gracias por estar en sintonía con El Mundo a las 7. Ellos son una pareja de esposos que ven el programa, pero lo pueden ver en la noche, así que bendiciones para ustedes. Ahí está María Crispín. Dios los bendiga siempre. Amén. Yesenia de la Cruz, good morning, posteando sus banderitas. Vamos a compartir. Señores. Vamos a darle inicio a lo que es la lectura de los titulares que tenemos en la mañana de hoy. Y iniciaremos con 33 casos confirmados de COVID-19. Esto es fuente de San Martin Island Times. También seguimos con los empleadores y empleados que están violando las cuarentenas. Esto es fuente del Daily Herald. Tenemos que estar pendientes en eso. Señores, si usted tiene algún síntoma o ya dio positivo y está en cuarentena o estuvo cerca de alguien que tuvo COVID, por favor respete el protocolo y manténgase en cuarentena. También tenemos que la ampliación del registro de pases de bus. Esto es fuente de San Martin Island Times. Continuaremos con el el grupo de Alfa arresta 5 personas en 2 casos de importancia con relación a drogas. Esto es fuente de San Martin Island Times. Seguimos que la aduana confisca rifles de aire comprimido. Esto es fuente de San Martin Island Times. Y también tenemos que Irion toma pasos para enchufar SV en Bleeding. Esto es fuente del Daily Herald. Estas son algunas de los titulares que tenemos en la mañana de hoy para que usted esté al tanto y esté pendiente de todas las informaciones que tenemos para usted. Vamos a dar inicio con lo que es el desarrollo. Y tenemos 33 casos confirmados de COVID-19. Esto es fuente de San Martin Island Times. Al 8 de septiembre, habían 33 personas que dieron positivo por COVID-19. Sin embargo, 23 personas se han recuperado, elevando el total de casos activos a 241. El número total de casos confirmados es ahora de 3.921. Los servicios de prevención colectivas, con sus siglas CPS, están monitoreando a 229 personas en aislamiento domiciliario. 12 pacientes están hospitalizados en San Martin Medical Center. El número total de muertes por COVID-19 permanece en 57. El número de personas recuperadas desde que surgió el primer caso en San Martin ha aumentado a 3.623. 170 personas están en cuarentena según las investigaciones de rastreos de contactos realizadas por el CPS. El equipo de salud del aeropuerto del Ministerio de Salud Pública, Desarrollo Social y Trabajo, con sus siglas BSA, en colaboración con el Laboratorio de Atención Médica de San Martín, con sus siglas HCLS, han evaluado a 3.629 viajeros que han llegado al Aeropuerto Internacional Princess Juliana, mientras que el CPS ha evaluado a 41.509 personas en toda la comunidad. A medida que los números continúen fluctuando, el CPS continuará ejecutando activamente sus medidas de rastreos de contactos. La campaña emergente de vacunación para este sábado 11 de septiembre se llevará a cabo en las oficinas del CPS en Vineyard Office Park de 9 de la mañana a 3 de la tarde. Se les pide a las personas interesadas que caminen con cualquier forma de identificación que contenga una foto para registrarse. Así que ya ustedes saben, señores, este sábado las personas que tienen pendiente su segunda dosis y ya han decidido ponerse o suministrarse la primera dosis, este sábado están todos los días, pero el sábado va a ser un día especial porque ellos trabajan de lunes a viernes, va a ser de 9 de la mañana hasta 3 de la tarde, donde ahí podrán ir a suministrarse sus vacunas. Ya tenemos lo que es 33 personas que dieron positivo en el día de ayer y 23 personas se recuperaron. Esto elevó los casos activos a 241. Tenemos 12 personas hospitalizadas y el número de muertes por COVID-19 permanece aún en 57.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good morning to each and every one of you. Just want to say good morning to Brenna.
Buenos
How are
días,
you, Brenna?
Estoy bien,
Good,
gracias a
good,
Dios.
good, good. 33 confirmed COVID-19 cases. As of September 8th, there were 33 persons who tested positive for COVID-19. However, 23 persons have recovered, bringing the total active cases to 241. The total number of confirmed cases is now 3,121. Ladies and gentlemen, there are still 57 deaths and 12 people are hospitalized. I would like to say to each and every one of you that yes, COVID is still real, and we have a lot of people discussing COVID numbers. I'm just going to say this. The segment that we had on Monday, where we broke down and analyzed the numbers for these COVID, or the COVID numbers, people got thinking, okay? There's Cedric Ortega, who we usually hear live broadcast feeds from, was mentioning this quite often, and he throwed it in one or twice. But you know, sometimes when you hear something from the same person over and over, you tend to take it for granted. You tend to put a blind eye or ear to it. However, if someone new, and I'm just going to give you an example, you have a boyfriend, and every time he said, Brenda, you know what? Why don't you get an agenda? Jot everything down. Brenda, you forget too much. Jot everything down on an agenda. And he constantly says so. Guess what? Tomorrow, we're going to be, you know, in a meeting and stuff, and I say, Brenda, you know, I don't want you to forget. So I want you to get an agenda. And what will Brenda do? Brenda will go and buy an agenda, right? And your boyfriend is going to be like, wait a minute. But I've been telling Brenda to buy an agenda the whole time. And now somebody else tells her to buy an agenda, and this is what happens. So I think this is the case with Soliga K9, Cedric Ortega, and many others who have been sounding the alarm. They've been talking about the COVID numbers, that people tend to get a little, how do you say, not focused on the message. However, we have brought it up, and this is the case right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us stick and watch the numbers and know what the numbers mean and what does the data explains. All right?
Así es. Continuamos con la próxima información y tenemos que empleadores y empleados están violando la cuarentena. Esto es fuente del Daily Herald.
This is a hot topic, whereas we know employees violating quarantine. This comes from the Daily Herald. A very, very hot topic. Brenda, give me the chance. I'll read this for you. Okay?
Okay.
Yes, I'd like to read this news because a lot of people need to know what's going on country St. Martin. Good. Now, as I said, this news. Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, VSA, Omar Atli, warns persons who are breaking quarantine measures, including employers who are demanding that employees break quarantine. The minister stated this during Wednesday's live Council of Ministers press briefing. The Collective Prevention Services has informed the minister through reports that there have been several persons who are breaking the set quarantine measures. When contacted by CPS, these persons were found to be at work and in company of others. Utley stated that these violations of quarantine measures contributed towards the spread of COVID-19 and the death of others. Another issue brought forth by the minister is employers compelling their employees to return to work even when placed under quarantine. Utley said some employers have even gone so far as contacting CPS and informing the department that their employees cannot remain in quarantine and their services are needed. If we are trying to get COVID under control, we, each other, and every one of us have to do our part. This is unacceptable, said Utley. Consequences for quarantine violations will be met with strict measures from the ministry. Utley said that moving forward, CPS would report such violations to the minister, who would then instruct via an issued ministerial decision to quarantine. If persons continue to break their quarantine measures, the Inspectorate of Public Health, Social Development and Labor VSA will then put in a report to the prosecutor's office, where further actions will be taken from there. This may include the administration of a penalty, said Utley. This is the craziest news I've read in a long time, Brenda. Okay? People are basically violating quarantine. The main issue of quarantine is that you stay secluded. How are you going to go and quarantine with employees and, staff and customers? That is unacceptable. Another thing I would like to say is that when the minister heard, or CPS is getting wave of these complaints, basically, what was taken? What action was taken? Was it just like, you can't do that, it's not right, they have to stay quarantined? Or was it met with, all right, you will be fined through ministerial decree that they're going to do
Pienso que
after?
deben de ponerle una multa.
Of course,
Una multa.
Brenda. In different Caribbean countries, when they talk about quarantine, trust me, they don't talk about quarantine and just sit back. Two things I'm going to mention. Remember, in the beginning, we here on the morning show spoke of quarantine and people not adhering to that, okay? And we were pretty pissed about it. So I think that we should be pretty pissed about now that now the employers and employees
Están reclamando sus trabajadores.
not
que no
sticking
pueden.
to quarantine.
No.
Quarantine is a very, very serious issue.
Yes.
All right? Quarantine means that you have been in contact or you were exposed to COVID-19 virus. So therefore, you are not to be in the midst of anybody. Okay?
Ok, déjame leer en español esta noticia, que también es muy importante para muchas
Definitely.
personas. Tenemos que el ministro de Salud Pública, Desarrollo Social y Trabajo, BCA, Omar Otley, advierte a las personas que están incumpliendo las medidas de cuarentena, incluyendo los empleadores, que exigen que los empleados rompan la cuarentena. El ministro dijo esto durante la conferencia de prensa en vivo del Consejo de Ministros del miércoles. Los Servicios de Prevención Colectiva, con sus siglas CPS, ha informado al ministro a través de informes que han sido varias personas que están incumpliendo las medidas de cuarentena establecidas. Cuando el CPS se puso en contacto con estas personas, se encontraron que estaban en el trabajo y en compañía de otras personas. Otley afirmó que estas violaciones de las medidas de cuarentena contribuyen a la propagación del COVID-19 y a la muerte de otras personas. Otro tema planteado por el ministro es que los empleadores obligan a sus empleados a regresar al trabajo incluso cuando están en cuarentena. Otley expresó que algunos empleadores, incluso han llegado a contactar al CPS e informar al departamento que sus empleados no pueden permanecer en cuarentena y que se necesitan sus servicios.
It's crazy.
Sí, estamos tratando de controlar COVID nosotros, todo y cada uno de nosotros. Tenemos que hacer nuestra parte. Esto es inaceptable, expresó Omar Otley. Las consecuencias de las violaciones de la cuarentena se cumplirán con medidas estrictas del ministerio. Otley expresó que en el futuro el CPS reportaría tales violaciones al ministro, quien luego instruiría a través de una decisión ministerial emitida para poner en cuarentena. Si las personas continúan incumpliendo sus medidas de cuarentena, la Inspección de Salud Pública deberá presentar un informe a la Fiscalía donde se tomarán nuevas medidas a partir de ahí. Esto puede incluir la administración de una sanción, expresó Omar Otley. De por sí, Prince, se están violando desde el principio, se puede decir. Porque yo conozco personas que incluso tenían hasta el síntoma, estaban infectados y andaban en la calle con su mascarilla, pero andaban en la calle, que no deberían. Eso lo dije una vez aquí en el programa.
Of course.
Entonces, pienso que el CPS como que debe de trabajar un poquito más porque lamentablemente nosotros no tenemos conciencia.
But, Brenda, for an employer to call CPS,
Que necesitan los servicios, pero hay más personas que usted puede contratar en lo que su empleado está
no,
de cuarentena.
we're probably looking at
Si se
restaurant.
necesita a alguien, tú sabes.
Brenda, let's take it into perspective. We're probably looking into restaurant and that sort of service, that somebody else can fill in. There's certain jobs that, yes, requires the skill set of an individual. Let's take, for instance, there's certain jobs. However, I'm sorry, quarantine is quarantine.
Sí.
Okay? And the minister said some strong words. And what he said is that can be result into people getting COVID-19. As a matter of fact, people dying. Wow. This is some strange news coming
Mira
out.
el comentario de Sunshine Priska.
Aruba once on quarantine and DVG come to your house and you're not there is 1,000 florins fine.
Si estás en cuarentena y van a visitarte los servicios del CPS, un ejemplo aquí, y no estás en la casa, son 1,000 florines de multa que te tocan.
Okay, let me tell you this, Brenda. I'm going to tell you this as well. We have to put into perspective that how much times did CPS ever visit anyone that was put into quarantine?
Pero aquí el CPS no visita.
How do you know?
Porque ninguna de las personas que han estado en cuarentena que yo conozca me han dicho que lo han visitado. Ni siquiera lo vuelven a llamar para saber cómo se sienten.
Exactly.
Entonces,
all right?
¿tú crees que lo van a visitar?
Exactly. So this is my point exactly, okay? Priska, in a very, very nice world, we would want CPS to go and check on these people and, to check to see if they're okay or whatever. How it works here in St. Martin many times is that you report yourself to CPS and boom, CPS say, oh, okay, maybe you get a call if you're lucky. Mm-hmm. And then after 2 weeks or 10 days, they call you, are you experiencing symptoms? And you tell them no. Okay, you can go back to work on Monday.
Espérate, Prim. Yo sobreentiendo que también eso lo había hablado al principio que inició la pandemia. Tienes los síntomas o diste positivo, ¿verdad? Estás en cuarentena. El deber de las autoridades es continuar dándote seguimiento, ¿verdad?
Definitely.
Ok, llegaron los 14 días de cuarentena que finalizan. Se te debe de exigir que tú regreses a hacerte un test, porque tú puedes no sentir síntomas, pero continuar con el virus. ¿Me entiendes?
That's it.
Estar asintomático, pero tienes el virus. Entonces, bueno, pasé solamente los 14 días. ¿Cuántas personas no han tenido hasta 28 y más días y continúan con el virus?
A relapse. But Brenda, this is why the employers do not take this serious. This is why they can do this. Because people who have been in quarantine, they felt that CPS took it as a joke. So imagine if CPS, which is you can say the governing body to check up on people, and they don't give you a call. Oh, I'm sorry, they issued different, I don't know, they just don't do it properly at times, all right? And I can say this. Imagine somebody not doing their job properly at times, or an institution not doing their job properly at times, and they come to you and said, hey, you are having your employees work. We're going to give the minister a call, and he's going to issue you a ministerial, sanction, and it will result into a fine. You'll be like, now you come in to care and stuff like that. So I can understand, why people did not take CPS really serious. A country that doesn't have laws in place can't demand any kind of cooperation from the public because they doesn't enforce things. People do what they want and nothing comes out of it. Leroy Hodge, you're saying the right things, all right? If CPS comes in my property, I am sending them to watch a Lakers game. I guess he's referring to when Anthony Davis was here and the President of Parliament was supposed to be in quarantine, I guess. I think that's what he's referring to. Also, I wanted to...
Disculpa, Prince. Aquí ni siquiera las personas de alto rango, es decir, como, mira, este parlamentario que dio positivo, Cookie Villani fue.
Oh, Cookie, yeah.
Y debió de haber estado en cuarentena ya todo el que estuvo cerca, pero el otro día estuvo el presidente del parlamento en el aeropuerto.
Correction, that was Claudius Boncamper.
Oh, perdón,
Claudius Boncamper, who tested positive for COVID-19. He was not showing any symptoms. However, they worked together. Okay, contact tracing, meaning that direct contact or affiliations, they work in the same building together. So he should have been in quarantine. And what was happening, and this is what he's referring to, St. Martin Anunnaki, he met with different representatives of Anthony Davis and stuff, all right? Some might say it's a necessary evil, but when you get COVID, it's not a necessary evil.
Right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we do have to go on a commercial break, a very short break. We ask you to stay locked and tuned in to TV Carib. We'll be right back.
Así es, señores, vamos a una pausa comercial. Regresamos en breve, así que denle like, compartan, etiqueten y posten sus banderas de dónde es su nacionalidad y dónde está residiendo. Regresamos en un momento.
Shell's Kitchen on the E.C. Richardson Street, number 25 in Phillipsburg, have some of the best meals around town for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And they make it so easy for you to order. Just call in, then walk in and pick it up. What's up it? Then walk in and pick it up. Or walk in, order it, and pick it up. We also cater and host events. And don't forget karaoke every Friday night. So eat at Shell's Kitchen on the E.C. Richardson Street, number 25 in Phillipsburg. It's a celebration in your mouth.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to what we call the morning show, The World at 7. We want to say good morning to those of you who are just tuning in. We do want you to like and share this broadcasting. I'm here with Brenda Rodriguez de Allen, who's going through her phone, of course, to share some of these broadcasting with some great groups and people. Dennis, we have a picture of the face mask that we sent yesterday, and St. Martin Anunnaki is saying, please share the mask pics. We can't even wear masks properly and voluntary. Quarantine violators is not going to seriously monitor, period. So these are tips how not to wear your mask. You can't wear your mask like this, okay?
Pero hay muchas personas que así que la utilizan.
I've even seen doctors who wear their mask like this, and then when they come, they put it up, okay? That's the wrong way. And even under your nose, okay, that is the wrong way because it's throat, it's nasal and mouth cavity you need to protect. So how is it that you're just protecting your mouth cavity and not your nose? So these are absolutely the wrong way in order to wear your mask. Okay?
Así es.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for repeating.
Así es, así. Y las personas deben de tener su mascarilla que le cubra tanto el área de la boca como el de la nariz completamente. No en esta forma. Muchas personas la tienen, la he visto aquí en la muñequera, usándola de muñecas.
Yeah.
Así. Así que se están usando ahora. ¿Tú no la has visto?
Muéstrame.
Personas usándola aquí de muñequera, se la ponen y entran las dos partes que van aquí en las orejas, se la entran aquí, andan con ella caminando. Digo yo, pero mira, cubriéndose el brazo.
Yeah, they're very creative when it comes to their mask.
Bueno, señores, le damos la bienvenida a todo el que nos está sintonizando en casita, todo el que esté en las redes sociales, que se está actualizando, como es el señor Antonio Méndez, Belki Vázquez, que están actualizándose, Yesenia de la Cruz, Melania Lauren, Annie Romblin, Minerva Maduro, Ingrid Laureano, Mariluz Rodríguez Martínez, Cedric Ortega, Germania Rondón, Gladys Sánchez, Stanman
Large Radio Small Island.
Ay, padre. Ok, Idalisa Sánchez, Brian Baker, Islu Pérez Luquet, Audrey Brown, Jojo, Karen Richardson, también está en sintonía con nosotros. Antonia Richardson, Rosa Méndez, Carol McKay, Adonis Reyes, que acaba de actualizarse con nosotros, muchas gracias. Felicidades por tu trofeo. El sábado pasado finalizó el torneo de béisbol aquí en la ciudad, así que él fue uno de los participantes y obtuvo un trofeo, así que muchas felicidades también. Buenos días para Junior Rondón, Annie Rombly, que está en sintonía con nosotros, Leroy Hodge también está en sintonía con lo que es el mundo a las 7. ¿Quién más también tenemos? Suchain Prisca también está en sintonía. San Martín Anunnaki, Evita Eva Bunting, Dorothy Daweit está en sintonía con el mundo a las 7.
All right, to Stanman, Massive, Live Island Radio, I would like to say I'm waiting on your new soca mix. This is a famous DJ. I went to school with this guy. He's from the Academy, Big Up Academy one time, at St. Martin Academy. And Stanley Benoit has been doing his thing along with So in Miami. He has brought small island music to the big forefront, and especially soca. So we want to big up Stanley Benoit one time. All right, thank you for watching the morning show.
Quiero darle los buenos días también a Paulina Alejandro y Yesenia Gomes, que están en sintonía con la programación del mundo a las 7.
Great. Brenda, we have some more news, and we would like to finish this news. We have extension of registration for bus passes. This story is taken from St. Martin Island Times.
Así es, la ampliación del registro de pases de buses. Esto es fuente de San Martin Allentown. El Ministerio de Educación, Cultura, Juventud y Deporte, MESIT, desea informar al público de lo siguiente. El registro en línea se ha extendido para que el registro pueda viajar en el servicio de transporte escolar del gobierno. La inscripción estará vigente hasta el 30 de septiembre y nos gustaría alentar a todos los padres y estudiantes que aún no se han inscrito en el servicio de transporte escolar a que lo hagan, expresó el honorable ministro de la MESIT, el doctor Rodolphe Samuel. Si no ha subido toda la documentación necesaria o le falta información, también puede hacer los ajustes con su número de registro, añadió el ministro. Para aquellos padres que tenían dificultades para completar el formulario, creamos un video infocomercial con una guía paso a paso que explica los detalles de completar el formulario de registro. El infocomercial se puede encontrar en todas las páginas de los medios gubernamentales. El formulario de registro solicita información sobre el estudiante, sus padres y las necesidades hacia y desde la escuela. Todas las inscripciones deben incluir una identificación o pasaporte del estudiante y del padre o tutor, así como una foto del estudiante que se adjuntará a la identificación. Los padres y tutores también deben aceptar las condiciones para el apoyo que indican los estándares mínimos de comportamiento de los estudiantes mientras hacen uso del servicio de transporte escolar. Según el ministro Samuel, el Ministerio de la Medicina tomó en consideración las quejas que se llevaron a la atención del equipo del proyecto y ajustó el portal de registro con la ayuda del Departamento del Gobierno del TIC, lo que ahora debería permitir un proceso de registro más fluido. Si aún tiene problemas para registrarse para su pase de autobús escolar, puede ponerse en contacto con la administración de la escuela de su hijo y ellos con gusto lo ayudarán con el proceso. Se alienta a las personas que completen el registro en línea a utilizar un navegador de Internet actualizado como Google, Chrome o Microsoft Edge y a ser pacientes al cargar las imágenes de identificación y la foto del estudiante, señaló el ministro de Educación Samuel Allen.
This is an important notification, the extension of registration for bus passes. This is a very important piece of the puzzle when it comes to our bus system, and I think it's a great idea. The online registration has been extended for the registered to ride on the school bus. The school busing service of government. The registration will now be in place until September 30th, 2021. We would like to encourage all parents and students who have not yet registered for the school busing service to please do so. The Honorable Minister of Education, Culture, Sports and Youth, Dr. Anders Rudolph Samuel said, if you have not uploaded all the necessary documentation or were lacking information, you can also make the adjustments with your registration number. The minister added, go to www.stmartingov.org, registration and ride to complete your registration. For those parents who had challenges completing the form, we created an infomercial video with a step-by-step guide explaining the details of completion of the registration form. The infomercial can be found on all government media pages. The registration form solicits information about the students, their parents, and the need to and from school. All registration must include an ID or passport of the student and parent or guardian, as well as a photo of the students to be attached to the ID. Parents and guardians are also required to accept the conditions for support which indicate minimum standard for behavior of students while making use of the school busing service. According to the Minister Samuel, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports took into consideration the complaints that were brought to the attention of the project team and adjusted the registration portal with the help of the ICT Department of Government, which should now allow you for a smoother registration process. Ladies and gentlemen, we do want to say that this is some good news in the right direction.
Así es, tienen los padres o tutores hasta el 30 de este mes para poder completar sus hijos, poderlo inscribir en lo que es el autobús para poderlo recoger, tener su pase.
I don't know how serious people are going to be because right now I see children riding the bus. So I don't know how serious, like people saying, okay, when it comes down to the last, okay, then I'll do it. But if you keep on something like this, you've given them a chance already. It should have been working before the vacation had finished. This should have been up and running, infomercial up and running, so that for the new school year, no one would have an excuse to say, hey, we don't have our bus pass, okay? What I suggest is that teachers can take a day to help students to fill in this if parents are very, very, how do you say, not tech savvy. Even though you get the infomercial, it doesn't explain you basically all the details. When I say it doesn't explain you, it sounds like Chinese when you're hearing it, It's like, okay, what do you do? All right, you click on this. Oh my God, what's a cursor? Those are the things that I'm saying. So there's parents who are not tech savvy and who would like some kind of help. So I would suggest that the schools take some time in helping these students, or they could just fill it out, application, and get it done, because it needs to be done before September 30th. I know everything should be digital, but I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, you let me know if you think that it is a good idea that they just keep on pushing the digitalized system. When I say digitalized system, I know that that's the best way. But I want to know if they should offer an alternative.
Tú sabes que ahora se supone que para iniciar el año escolar debieron de estar todos los niños que utilicen el bus estar inscritos. Ok, hubo un tiempo que hubo una dificultad porque el sistema estuvo caído, estuvo lento, pero ahora dan una extensión, entonces las personas se respuestan.
Yeah.
No, yo lo puedo hacer después, ellos van a dar otra renovación, otra extensión, y se descuidan en cuanto a eso. Entonces lo que hacen es que divarían un poco o ponen más trabajo a lo que es el Ministerio de Educación.
Yeah. Leroy asks, what is the reason for a bus pass, Prince? Is this another way to take $1 from the poor man or from them to put in the GPS system in Polar trying to take the bus driving from the poor man to give to Maxud? I think he's referring to, the owner of Motor World. I hardly doubt that they're trying to take it and give it to Maxud. I think Maxud have bigger fish to fry. However, what is interesting is to know about the GPS system. I don't know anything about the GPS system. I was wondering how they would track anyone, but this makes sense. If there's a GPS system attached to the card, and it would make sense, all right? Leroy, if you have more information on that and, concrete information, please, I would like to know, okay? We are digital savvy as a population. Our sardines went viral, remember? A pleasant day to both of you. Keep up the work. Thank you so much, Glenford Lawrence. Every time it comes to school children, every time it comes to the educational system, we see that Glenford Lawrence pops up. I think he has a passion for school, for educational system, and I think that, that's the trend that I'm seeing. So Glenford, thank you so much. Buenos dias, good morning, Prince Herbert Martina and Senora Brenda. Hello,
Buenos
señora.
días, Jonathan Raymond, buenos días.
Oh, wow.
También tenemos, ya que dijiste, Nadine Suárez, ahí está, y
Musker Cliff, who
desde
says,
Curazao.
good morning from Curacao. Hey, bom dia, Maru. Vita spero tu costa bom, ayana na Curacao. All right. I think Nadine Suarez is agreeing with me and said, yes, they should have some type of manual inscription instead of just digitalized. All right?
Ok, continuamos con las informaciones y tenemos que el grupo Alfa arresta a 5 personas en 2 casos de importación de drogas no relacionadas. Esto es fuente de San Martin Island Times.
Alpha Team arrests 5 people in 2 unrelated drug importation cases. 5 people in 2 unrelated cases were arrested in 2 days by the Alpha Team for the importation of significant quantity of illicit drugs. The investigation into these drug-related cases are ongoing. The Alpha Team arrested 2 suspects in relation to 1 case on Tuesday. The arrest of the 3 other suspects in the second unrelated case took place today, Wednesday, which was yesterday. The importation and trade of illicit drugs pose risk to public health and contribution to the feeling of insecurity and unsafe environment in the country. Criminal acts such as these have disruptive effects on the rule of law. The Alpha Team specializes in cross-border controls and investigations. It comprises officers from Police Force of St. Martin KPSM, Koninklijke Marechaussee, KMAR, Customs Department, and the Dutch Caribbean Coast Guard. So, ladies and gentlemen, beware, because it's a whole barrage, a team. You know, when people are working together, it's so much easier to catch the bad guys, especially when you're working as a team like this. And that's why it is imperative that we give them our full support and that we pay our justice workers what is due to them, and when it comes to salary and, of course, vacation pay.
Tenemos 5 personas en 2 casos no relacionados. Fueron detenidos en 2 días por el equipo Alfa por la importación de una cantidad significativa de drogas ilícitas. Las investigaciones de estos casos relacionados con las drogas están en proceso. El equipo Alfa arrestó a 2 sospechosos en relación con un caso el martes y los arrestos de los otros 3 sospechosos en el segundo caso no relacionado tuvieron lugar el miércoles. La importación y el comercio de drogas ilícitas representan riesgo para la salud pública y contribuyen a la sensación de inseguridad y ambiente inseguro en el país. Actos delictivos como estos tienen un efecto perturbador en el Estado de Derecho. El equipo Alfa se especializa en controles e investigaciones transfronterizos. Está compuesto por agentes de la Fuerza de Policía de San Martín, por Koninklijke Marechaussee, KMAR y el Departamento de Aduana y la Guardia Costera del Caribe holandés. Es decir, que están todos trabajando en conjunto.
Yeah.
A veces tú dices, pero... No, tú no, perdón. A veces las personas, vamos a pasar tal cantidad por aquí porque esas personas no están pendientes.
¿Cuánto más o menos?
No sé, Prince.
Tú no sabes. Okay, well.
Por Dios. ¿Sabes cuántas personas ahora para la pandemia no fueron arrestadas pensando que porque estamos en pandemia no se va? Y ahí era cuando más.
No, that's when we got more stringent, you know.
Sí.
I would like you to read the word again, Koninklijke Marechaussee. Yeah.
Koninklijke Marechaussee.
All right, good. I just wanted to, for the viewing audience, to know that your Dutch is getting better. Customs confiscates air rifle, and this story is taken from St. Martin Island Times. Customs officer confiscated an air rifle and related ammunition on Wednesday. The weapon was discovered in a package during a routine check of imported packages. It is forbidden to import, be in possession of, or to use an air gun in St. Martin. A weapon such as an air rifle could be used to threaten or cause physical harm to a person and or animals. The look of the weapon can easily lead to it being mistaken for more dangerous weapons, thus posing a further issue to the safety of the community. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to tell you right now that it is illegal to have one of those air guns. They look so real. You know, look at this. Look at this. Can you imagine, you know, rolling up somewhere, even though it doesn't, you know, it's not fatal, just like that. You know, you have to be very close in order for it to do a very lasting damage effect. It is illegal. Why? How much Chinese restaurants, how much supermarkets got robbed because of these air guns. It looks extremely real. You know, if somebody come to you with a gun like this and say, hey, give me your money, you're not going to say, hey, let me see first if it's plastic. Let me see first if it's an air rifle. No, excuse me, robber, come here. And then you flip the gun, you look, you say, no, it's not real, so go your way. No, it doesn't work that way. All right? Exactly, it doesn't work that way. You see this, you get threatened, and that's it. All right? So let's refrain from getting these things on the island. Next order of business, Idion takes steps to plug SZV bleeding. This comes from the Daily Herald. The Finance Minister, Arthur Aaron, is taking steps to correct some situations that were left unaddressed by previous governments. Excuse me?
Yes.
All right. One such correction being made is paying social and health insurance SZV the amount that it is rightfully due on a monthly basis. Aaron explained that government has been paying SZV about $3.8 million per month, which is about 700,000. Wait, let me read this. 700,000 guilders too little, a situation which has persisted for many years. This government has made a decision to stop the bleeding, and we have now started to pay the amount that we have to pay dealing with the OZR fund. Irian said during the live Council of Ministers press briefing on Wednesday. That was just decision making. And with regards to, and again, these are all touchy subjects and areas, but it is also the reality. The civil servants' contribution legally as civil servants, where we were supposed to contribute 10% to the funds which government has been covering for the last 10 years or more. For sure, the last 10 years. This also increased our debt to SZV over the last 10 years, and no one addressed this for political reasons or the sensitivity of it. But at the end of the day, because it was not addressed, we have reached this point. Luckily, though, this government is addressing that with the Council of Ministers. We have looked for different solutions to be able to fill this gap, stop the bleeding, and be able to lower the debt going forward. He also alluded to the financial statements for the years 2014, 2015, 16, 17, 18, and 19, which were never completed and which the sitting government has to complete in a short time. This government now has to do this within 2 years, which is a task that we are doing and we will complete. We are hoping to have all our financial statements up to date by next year again. This is a task that this government has to go back and fix for the last few years. In addition to dealing with the COVID, in addition to dealing with your current financial statements and liquidity issues, but a task that we did not run from, said the finance minister. What would be very important to know is since when are they paying SZV 700,000 guilders more? Let's calculate
Oye,
this.
se están pagando, se están tomando medidas para corregir algunas situaciones que gobiernos anteriores no habían abordado.
Let's calculate this, all right?
En lo que tú calculas, yo voy informando. Esta es una de las correcciones que se está realizando, es pagar el Seguro Social y de Salud, SB, la cantidad que legítimamente se deuda mensualmente. Irion explicó que el gobierno ha estado pagando a SB alrededor de 3,8 millones de florines al mes, lo que equivale a 700,000 florines, en una situación que persiste desde hace muchos años.
Okay. Oh my God. All right. So, according to this report, and I just wanted to bring the calculation, okay? Mm-hmm. Every month, SZV pays 700,000. Government pays SZV 700,000 guilders less. And this is from since 10-10-10. Mm-hmm. Now, if we put into account till 10-10-20, which would be 10 years, I've calculated 12 times 10, because it's 12 months in a year, times 10 years times 700,000 guilders. And it goes up to 84 million guilders that government owes SZV to now, if I do my calculations right. All right?
Con esta calculación vamos a irnos a nuestro segmento de cumpleañeros. Vamos a ver quién tenemos en pantallita. Y tenemos el señor Aurelio Mercedes Díaz, que está cumpliendo un año más. Muchas bendiciones para usted. También tenemos a Cia Carrión. Feliz cumpleaños para usted, mi señora. También tenemos a Renny Simon. Feliz cumpleaños, happy birthday to you. Y por último tenemos a Gardenia Trinidad, que están celebrando un año más de vida. Así que muchas bendiciones para ustedes, mucha prosperidad.
All right, I want to say happy belated birthday. I wished him yesterday, but to the Minister Plenipotentiary, Rene Violinas, he made birthday yesterday. Just made mention of an honorable birthday. Jason Rogers, who has been appointed on the board or reappointed on the board of Chamber of Commerce. Melvin Frank, Bailey Charles, Aya Duport, Felicia Clark, Richie Bobatui, Yandy Moya in Dutch Quarter, Vicky Bonalaire, Kurt Illis, Shamira Jean-Pierre, and of course James Richardson, Aldina Laurent, Jessica Sweetness, Stunner Fleming, and of course Sheila Duport. Thank you so much for all the birthday celebrants.
Así es, de esta manera finalizamos nuestra programación del día de hoy, así que le damos gracias por ustedes estar atentos a nosotros. Vamos a Extra Time, así que los invitamos a que nos acompañen.
All right, we want to say Ning Hao, happy birthday to you. This is The World at 7. We are going to be in Extra Time. Have a great and peaceful day. Ciao.
Shell's Kitchen on the E.C. Richardson Street, number 25 in Phillipsburg, have some of the best meals around town for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And they make it so easy for you to order. Just call in, then walk in, and pick it up. What's up it? Then walk in and pick it up. Or walk in, order it, and pick it up. We also cater and host events. And don't forget karaoke every Friday night. So eat at Shell's Kitchen on the E.C. Richardson Street, number 25 in Phillipsburg. It's a celebration in your mouth.
All right.
Hoy es jueves, antesala del fin de semana. Señores, bienvenido a nuestro tiempo extra. Gracias por mantener su sintonía con nosotros.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is extra time.
Extra, extra.
Extra time. No, it is extra time, and we want to welcome you to our morning program. If you've just tuned in, our number to call is 554-5601. You can chime in on this conversation. You can give suggestions on topics. And of course, you can call to disagree with Brenda because everybody agrees with me. And you can do whatever you want. The only thing that you cannot do is be disrespectful on the phone towards anyone else. All right?
Déjeme hacerle la traducción de la. Señores, este es el teléfono del estudio 554-5601, donde
Del
usted puede llamar.
estudio.
Del estudio, así mismo, no personal, del estudio, donde usted puede llamar y estar de acuerdo con lo que yo diga, no importa lo que prediga. O sea, no importa, no importa. Usted está de acuerdo, usted puede llamar, Brenda, sí, estamos de acuerdo con lo que tú dices, estamos de acuerdo con lo que tú planteas. Olvídense de que Prin está ahí sentado en este extra time.
All right. I had a question for all our televiewers in extra time. And, you know, grocery shopping in St. Martin is expensive. It's expensive. Apart from us being duty free, you know, we don't pay import taxes. Food is still expensive. Good. Now, my question to the viewers.
Perdón. Y se pone más cara a fin de mes cuando aprueban la tarjeta de la comida que está dando el gobierno. Entonces, no hay especiales para esa fecha. Los especiales que hay durante el mes, cuando llega la fecha que aprueban la tarjeta de la comida, lo quitan.
Are you serious?
Te lo estoy diciendo porque lo he pasado. Digo, pero yo voy a tener que dejar de venir al súper a fin de mes.
But I thought you said you didn't have the card.
No, yo no tengo la carta.
So how would you know that they
Porque no tengo personas. Cuando voy al súper, que esté el gentío en ese súper, que no se puede uno ni mover. Y la fila está larguísima, que no puede uno pagar a tiempo. Entonces, no ponen especiales, quitan los especiales que ponen durante el mes. Para esta fecha y el precio los aumenta.
Okay, so this is a different issue that we would like to target as well. Apparently, because of, I think it's done strategically. So, at the end of the month, when the money is placed on the card for those people who are, how do you say, who are enjoying the benefits of getting money to do their grocery shopping, the supermarkets take away their specials, okay? So there's no more specials. You go and you buy, you swipe the card, and then in the middle of the month, that's when the specials are there, okay? I think it's done strategically. Brenda is saying that it's wrong. I'm saying it's absolutely wrong, and it's not cool, okay? Because those are the people less fortunate, or should I say more vulnerable, and that's why they enjoy the benefits of that system, that they get, you know, a food voucher or money on the card. I don't get that. You don't get that, right? So what I'm saying is that the supermarkets are expensive. My question to you, the viewing audience, is, do you go at one supermarket and shop and say, listen, if I have to buy these things, it might cost 10 cents here more, 20 cents here more, and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go to one location, buy everything, because if I have to go to different locations, I have to pay for the gas anyway. What do you do, Brenda? Do you go different places and shop for stuff, or you go to one supermarket?
No, yo voy exactamente a un supermercado. Mira, lo que dice Mara, tienes mucha razón. Y los que no tenemos la K1 compramos bien caro. Entonces, al super que yo voy, el ajo está 2 por 1. Pero a fin de mes, tú consigues un solo paquete de ajo al mismo precio que estaba al 2 por 1.
Could it be,
La
Brenda?
cebolla, permiso, la cebolla también, la papa en el mismo precio. Pero a fin de mes, cuando prueban la carta del K1, entonces quitan el especial y lo ponen al mismo precio como si estuviese.
Now, Brenda, could it be that when in the middle of, or let me put it this way, they order for month end, okay? So they just have the normal price. But when it comes to the middle of the month, they don't want things to go spoil and stuff. It could be. I'm just asking you. Could it be for that? Do they have specials on things like tuna? Do they have specials like things
Sí,
on Vianney
sí,
sausage,
sí.
and then at the end of the month they don't? Because those are things that last pretty quick. Maybe that's what you should look into.
Señores, alguien que haya ido a comprar o asista a ese
I'm just
supermercado
asking. That could be a
especialmente, te
possibility.
estoy diciendo porque yo soy fija en ese supermercado y voy en cualquier
Let me
tiempo del
translate.
mes.
All right. So Brenda is saying that at the end of the month, you do not enjoy the specials on the potatoes, on the garlic, on the onions, those things. And I'm saying, could it be that they order so that the end of the month people can get and shop, and when it comes down to the middle of the month, they're like, hey, we don't want these things to go spoiled and rotten. So what we'll do is we'll give specials on them. Brenda is like, no, no, no. What they're doing is basically, that's when the people from the card gets their money, so they buy expensive. Okay, this pricing problem was there before the pandemic, but gotten worse since the pandemic actually started. Only go to the Chinese. They are not highly decorated and hence cheaper, which saves the buyer the decoration charges. Okay, that's a good tip. All right. But I'm asking you, the viewing audience, you can call in. The number to call is 554-5601. Do you think it's what Brenda is saying because of the K1 card, because of the NRP card, they put the things more expensive, or there's no special at the end of the month, or is it because they don't want the things to spoil?
Había recibido la denuncia de otro supermercado que aceptaba aceptaba la tarjeta K1 y no se reflejaba los precios en la pantalla.
All right.
No estaban reflejando los precios en la pantalla.
Yeah, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Entonces no hay un control. ¿Dónde está el departamento de control de precios?
Yeah. Apparently, and Brenda is saying that when you use the card, so don't you get the receipt?
No sé si conseguían el recibo, pero no veían
Apparently,
la cantidad cuando
when
iban.
you go to certain supermarkets, I don't know if it's all, this is what she's saying, that when the items are charged, you don't see the price reflected on the screen. Now, it is unlawful to buy anything because you're purchasing, and that you don't get a receipt. If you request a receipt,
No, tienes que tener
they
tu recibo.
have to give you a receipt. So how would they be able to give you a receipt with no prices on it? That is absolutely hogwash. All right? To Mr. Westcott, good morning to my family. God bless you all. Thank you so much. All right? Good morning. Let's see what happens next month, as this is the last month for the card. Wow, that is
Wow.
that is such a good observation. So next month is the last of the month. Remember, they did it, a year back, and then they extended it for 6 more months. Okay? Wow.
Mira aquí. No solo quitan el especial, también le suben 2 y 3 florines a todos. Yo tengo una tarjeta de 300 florines. Brenda está en lo cierto. Gracias por su comentario.
Okay. All right. So this person is saying that Brenda is absolutely correct. Not only do they take off the specials, but they put items 2 or 3 guilders more. All right. I think that is just diabolic. It's demonic, the way how they do that, if that's the case. Okay. Many issues going on here. These are the things that I'm saying. When you don't have proper checks and balance, when you just want to do a program without even finalizing, and we had the chance to do it because this was a program that we had before.
Yeah.
Now I'm saying it was better before. I mean, it was better. It was better. How do you say? Coordinated, calculated after. We had some hiccups because people were saying, yeah, people who don't need it have it, and people within the one household have 2 and 3 cards and stuff. And now
¿Sí?
I'm not. That's what I'm hearing. Well, now I'm not hearing that as much. Okay. However, what I am hearing is that there's abuse. Okay. We know that now you can't use it for alcohol, cigarettes. Okay.
Mira, este mes que pasó ahora, yo estuve en el súper y la encargada de que está chequeando cuando la cajera hace un error en la caja que va y rectifica, sucede que delante de mí había una pareja de esposos y cada uno tenía una tarjeta.
But how do you know they were husbands and wife?
Porque la muchacha que estaba chequeando las cajas, que es la encargada, no sé cómo llamarle a eso, que es la que lleva el chequeo, les reclamó a sí mismo. ¿Por qué? Bueno, porque ustedes tienen 2 tarjetas y es una misma casa. Eso es un abuso. ¿Por qué no le dan chance a otra familia?
Who said that?
La muchacha que trabaja en el súper.
No, she is out of place.
No, exacto.
She is out of place.
Pero ella se lo encontró indignante.
No, I'm sorry, she is out of
Por
place.
eso me di cuenta.
All right. A pleasant good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Who am I speaking to?
Prince Hubert Martino, good morning. Brenda, my love, how you doing?
All right.
I'm okay.
This is Leroy Hodge.
Okay.
Leroy,
Espérate. ¿Cómo tú sabes que es Leroy Hodge?
I can recognize his voice.
Okay.
Listen, Prince, let me explain you something about this whole pricing thing. The prices is being manipulated because there's no price control. Government is not putting somebody consistent in checking prices, whether raising or dropping. You understand where I'm coming from? And prices shouldn't be high in Martin because we have to read reports. You understand? So we shouldn't have no high prices here. Okay?
Yeah.
And this is just a way for them to make money off of the poor people. This is another way of breaking the poor man, especially with the K1 card. The K1 card is a good thing, yes, but I feel it's just a way of, how you say, laundering money or disguising bad spending of money. So now they're going to use this, or we put millions into giving people back, which you know is not true. You understand?
Yes.
But when you go to the supermarket, especially when the cards are, because they know exactly when the cards is going to be refilled, because the cards are refilled once a month. Okay? They know exactly when the cards are going to be refilled, so they raise the prices to beat the system of the card, as in getting more off of the card and more money in their pocket, and we getting less groceries.
Okay.
So it's a difficult situation. You cannot do that.
Okay, Leroy, can I ask you a question? For those of them who have the card, let's say if their card have on 500 guilders, it's just an example, and they shop for 300 guilders, can that 200 guilders go over to next month?
No, it does not. They take all the 200 guilders and put back the same amount. So you don't get 5 plus 2 makes it 7. No, they do not do that. You have to spend every last cent on your card, whether it's 300 guilders, 500 guilders, 50 guilders, doesn't matter.
Whoa.
You have to exceed the amount on the card, else it takes it off and just top up the card with a fresh amount. So whether you balance it or you economize, it doesn't matter. You just have to spend everything on the card.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, it's a very ticklish situation.
Okay, good. Swaliga K9 Bites agrees with you. You need to use all. He's making real statements, abuse on both sides. Swaliga K9 is adamantly agreeing with you. Leroy, thank you so much for your contribution on the morning show this morning.
Anytime.
Yes, thank you. I'm really, really, really thankful that you called in and you can give a first-hand experience on how things are going. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yeah. There you have it. You know, this card can be above all.
Es decir, que no puede dejar una reserva, tiene que usarlo todos por ese mes, porque el próximo mes, no importa lo que tú usaste, vuelven y te reponen la misma cantidad, no te acumulan.
Okay, this is the next thing. Or they change up the products for outdated stuff. Wow. You know, these are the things that supermarkets do in order to maximize their profits. With all due respect, right now, things have gotten more expensive. Why? Because container freights are double or even triple. I visited a department store, a place that sells furnitures, plastic wares, and plates and stuff like that, right? In Cold Bay. I can say. And, well, I'm not going to say the place. Anyway, when I went there, I know the owners, and I was asking, how's business? And he was like, business is rough. Why? Because in a pandemic, the freight cost is 2 to 3 times more, and it can go 4. All right. We have a caller. A pleasant good morning. A pleasant good morning.
Buenos días.
Buenas.
Sí, buenos días.
Ok, es verdad, ellos cambian los precios y aparte de eso, cuando tú ves un precio en el shell, cuando tú vas a pagar, te lo cobran regular. Tú tienes que estar chequeando.
Ok.
Porque si no, te cobran el doble siempre. Por eso es que el dinero de la carta nunca es suficiente. El primer mes que le dieron, el año pasado, ¿no? Cuando empezaron, sí, rindió mucho el dinero. Pero después cuando los supermercados vieron que mucha gente tenía la carta, comenzaron a hacer eso y a cambiar los precios.
Wow.
Es lamentable, pero eso está sucediendo realmente. Entonces no hay
Sí.
un control de precios.
No hay control de precio.
Okay.
Y cuando tú reclamas, cuando tú chequeas, pues particularmente yo nunca hago una compra grande, siempre lo voy comprando al paso para ir chequeando por eso mismo. La muchacha llama a la China para que cambie el precio y nunca la China como que siempre tiene tiempo. Y digo, llama a la China, por favor, porque me están cobrando de mal. Entonces ahí la China viene y pasa la tarjetita para que cambien el precio.
Wow.
Ok. Muchas gracias por su
Muy
comentario.
muy
¿Quién habla?
Ok, gracias. Yesenia Gómez.
Ok, gracias Yesenia. Siempre en sintonía con
Que
nosotros.
pasen buen día.
Igual.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jasenia Gums, for giving us an insight as well. Apparently, a lot of things is happening. Jasenia Gums is talking from first-hand experience, and she's saying that that's why she shopped a little bit by little bit just to see what's going on. And sometimes the shop attendant, she calls her China, but I'm sure it's a Chinese
un comentario
person.
de Mera Flor que dice, ellos no tienen ningún control. A quienes le dan la tarjeta hay personas que necesitan que se la negaron y a muchos que están trabajando se la dan. Eso, yo tengo muchas personas, conozco muchas personas que en realidad la necesitan y se la han negado.
Let's read a comment from Melika. Why you want to leave on the money? Just spend it all. That's what it's there for. Use. Prince, by the time you start shop, the money finish and you don't even see what you get. All right? Also, freight from mainland China has increased 5-fold, but we should be back to some normalcy after Christmas and New Year holiday. I don't think some businesses can survive. I don't think some businesses can survive if that's the case, say Martin Anunnaki, because if the freights go up 5-fold, right? And people are now charging, and I was telling you about this this place. The owner of the place is saying, listen, I'm going to raise the rent, in a pandemic. Now my question is, you're going to raise the rent in a pandemic? And he says, if you don't want to pay, it's okay. Because there's 3-4 people who wants the warehouse. I was like, what? First of all, a rental agreement doesn't protect you. You're just going to say, hey, I'm going to raise the rent like that in a pandemic. So sales have dropped. People can't get merchandise, or it's difficult to get merchandise because it's pretty expensive. So people have to have creative ways in order to do so. And these shipping companies are just making a havoc on us small Caribbean islands. I'm a mother of 4 children. I'm Dutch, and up to now, I ain't received no help, even though I applied so many times. They help who they want. My name is Carolina Antoni. Okay. Anthony Nova. Okay.
Ella no ha recibido la ayuda y es la madre de 4 hijos.
Wow, wow,
Y ha
wow.
aplicado varias veces.
That is crazy. That's crazy. I don't know if they have a committee with complaints, but I heard of people who need it and don't get it. My whole thing is that I think that they would have to extend it to
Tengo
yet 6 more
otro
months.
comentario que dice Brenda, donde dan la tarjeta, aclaran que en una casa no pueden tener dos. Eso lo aclaran ellos. Pero como Prince y yo estamos en una casa, Prince llama por su cuenta, se registra y consigue una tarjeta. Pero yo llamo por mi cuenta, me registro y consigo otra tarjeta. Estamos los dos en la misma casa.
I don't know if it's the same institute because if you're registered on the one address, right? They're supposed to have some kind of checks and a database.
Prince.
No, this
Pero
is what
voy
I'm
a dar
saying.
mi dirección real si ya tú la diste.
But that's one of the requirements.
Sí, pero puedo poner otra dirección que yo sé, bueno, fulanita no va a aplicar para
But Brenda,
la casa
if
porque
I
necesita,
no,
déjame dar permiso,
Brenda,
déjame
Brenda,
dar,
no.
ahora,
No,
disculpa,
Brenda.
Prin, déjame explicar el
But Brenda,
código que yo tengo.
that's not correct. I have to say this. Why? Because I'm thinking that these people are of knowledge. They're knowledgeable. People that are at the K1 Britannia, people that are on the St. Martin Development Fund.
Ellos van a la casa y
okay?
te la entregan.
Hold up. I would think that a program like this that deals with effective money, okay, because this is what it is. It's giving value to something. That you would have proper checks and balance, that when you come, you should have a registration form. You're receiving 2, 3, 4, 500 guilders a month to shop.
Yep.
The least that you can do is have a registration form showing that this is my address or a GB bill or whatever. All right? So therefore, you should have somewhere in a database and saying, all right, this is my address. And if you type it into the computer, somebody else comes, you type it into the computer, it's supposed to show one time, hey, this is the same address. Okay? And
Debería de ser
then
así, pero
you
no es
do
así.
an investigation. So that's why it's hard for me to believe, Brenda. But you do
Lo están
understand.
haciendo así como tú estás diciendo.
I don't know, but I'm saying
Si lo
that's why.
hicieran así, entonces hubiera un control.
That's why it's hard for me to believe. People, somebody, please call in and ease my mind to know that this is how it's done. Can someone let me know that it's a registration form, whether it's a long form or a short form, that is given, okay? Yes, if you have kids, a detailed registration costs $10. But Leroy, with all due respect, if they're giving you 500 guilders a month, all right, to do shopping, I would get that $10 to give a detailed registration form.
Bueno, yo no sé cómo es la registración porque nunca
But you
lo he
understand what
hecho.
I'm saying, though,
Sí,
Brenda?
yo entiendo lo que tú dices.
Even with my 5 children, I would get a detailed registration form. Okay?
Mira, Amera Flor dice, yo también he aplicado varias veces y tengo 3 niños pequeños y no tengo trabajo y me la negaron. Si en verdad hacen la investigación con la información solicitada, deberían darse cuenta de la verdad.
That's what I'm saying. All right. We have a caller coming in. A pleasant good morning.
It's Leroy again.
All right, Leroy.
You see, that's the reason I put the price, because I did it already to prove certain cases. A detailed registration form is $10. We spend $10 on a lot of nonsense that we don't even have to spend it on.
Exactly.
You understand? I want to get into nobody's personal business. You can't use $10 to take out a detailed registration form to prove who in your household and that you really need help, then you don't need help.
I think that's normal, you know,
¿Debería?
because I don't know what's the how much do they give? I don't know this.
You mean with a card?
Yeah, how much do they put on the card? I'm
it's
sure
according-
depending on the
it's according-
household that you have.
It's according to your household, as my understanding is according to your household. If it's one person, I think you get 300 guilders. If it's a family of 4 and more, you get within 500 guilders and 700 guilders.
Leroy,
Yes?
pero ¿cómo tú pruebas cuántas personas viven contigo?
That's the point. They're asking you to bring passport and IDs of the other people, but I could borrow somebody's passport and ID. Now with a detailed registration form that shows father name, mother name, children name, who are listed under this household. So you cannot fraud that.
So,
And that's how
so
it should be
Leroy,
done.
I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna ask you this. So you are. Do they ask for a detailed registration form?
They do not ask for those things. They just ask for some sort of proof. But they've never been specific with the type of proof. So I could borrow your ID, I could borrow Brenda ID and say all of these people live in my house. And just collect 700 guilders.
Wow.
With no sort of proof.
Okay.
No, if it's done it the right way, they will ask for a detailed registration, which costs $10. You
Yeah.
understand? And if you really need the help, just like how we could hustle $10 to go to a casino, hustle $10 to buy a bag of weed, or whatever may be the case, we could hustle $10 to get that detailed registration.
$10 to buy a bag of weed?
Like I said.
But illegal. It's not legal, Leroy.
Well, the minister is trying to make it legal, so it's probably going to be legal real soon. But that's a different conversation. But what I'm saying is, that's how you could hustle for things that is not important. This is something important. You could hustle that same $10
Exactly.
to get the help that you need, even if you beg for it. Because begging is not good to say, but if you beg for a good cause, I have no problem with that. I self, if I have to give somebody, I will help somebody that's in need than somebody that just wants.
Yes, yes, yes. Leroy, but I'm here seeing that Melika Booth says, yes, Prince, they have all that requirement. So this goes contrary to what you're saying. So I don't know if they require detail, and you don't know either, right?
They didn't tell you specifically what kind of proof that you need to bring that the people lives in your household.
Okay.
But a detailed registration proves exactly who lives in your household.
Exactly,
So if
exactly.
you have the time to go and stand in that long line, it ain't gonna take you nothing to make an appointment by the government because they send you a date when you're supposed to come for the top up. You understand?
Exactly.
So if you have to go for the top up next week, the whole week before next week, you have to go to the government building, make sure you get an appointment to get a detailed registration. So when you reach to that place, you have everything in place.
Wow, wow. All right. Thank you so much, Leroy, for clarifying yet another quagmire in this whole thing that is called the food voucher program. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. This is a absolute bubble. I must say it's confusing. It's disheartening. You know what's also disheartening? If you see something like this, like a household with 2 cards. It's disheartening when you see people who don't, well, you can't judge that they don't need it, but who have jobs. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, Prince. You asked a question if they have registration where they have your name and your address and all these things.
Yes.
And I tell you, yes, they do have that registration. But what Leroy wants to say, trying to say to you, they need to go to the census office to get a registration form to prove that these people live in your household. That's the understanding from Leroy.
Okay,
so
okay.
I agree with Leroy totally.
But
go get approved. You take $10 and do something different. You could go for a registration form.
exactly. But Melika, it's just mind-boggling and mind-blowing to me that is not one of the requirements. That they say, listen, you need a detailed registration form.
No, they don't ask for a detailed registration.
Wow.
Or they just ask for your ID and the persons living in your household, their ID. As Leroy said, anybody could go and get anybody's ID and register. So maybe they could look at that a little bit better, or work with the census office to see their data and see who lives where and who doesn't live
well,
where.
Melika Booth, I think it's too late because next month is the last of the food voucher program. We think that it might be extended, but they need to do better. They need to do better. Thank you so much for contributing, Melika.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Te estoy diciendo.
Wow. No state facility should have. Okay, it's a hot topic. It's a hot topic.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All right. I see my boy Cedric Ortega calling in, and you had to chime in. Talk to me.
Good morning.
A pleasure.
One point or one aspect of their control that I think we are missing is the cross-referencing with social affairs. When you are registered there as unemployed, a mother of four, etc., the K1, they cross-reference that information. So I think what a lot of people haven't done is registered my social affairs as to their situation and their status.
Yeah.
A lot of the information is cross-referenced by at social affairs, and there you see, okay, this person is indeed unemployed and they live by themselves, or this person is unemployed, they have 2 kids, they have 3 kids, so the information is cross-referenced there. So one of the things I gonna do is for future events, a lot of us do not like to register our status. We are ashamed, we are a proud people, but yes, you need to be registered at social affairs as to your status, whether you're unemployed, where you live, how many kids, and organization like A1 Britannica, they may ask for just some superficial information that they're going to cross-reference themselves, right? And ultimately, if you are not registered at social affairs as a single mom with 3 kids, or a single dad with 3 kids, or unemployed, whatever your status may be, if it's not registered there, they don't have a point to cross-reference, which then puts you maybe at the bottom of the list and making it seem as if it's a preferential treatment, when actually it might not be the case.
Might not be. But Cedric, which brings a lot of question into, or brings a lot of questions to mind. I can agree with you, and I can agree with you. But what about those people who have not been registered and still get through? So making the fact that it shows some sort of preferential treatment nevertheless.
You see, now again, the point that they would be cross-referencing the information, we would have, so now we were dealing with anecdotal stuff, and it becomes difficult. We would then need some total clarification as to, okay, did they collect this information after that? Do they cross-reference with social welfare? After those people may have get preferential treatment, do they then go back and then make a selection based on the information that they do have? Because yes, they know that there's a large number of people that are unregistered. But then you would see that it is not even preferential, it's just a matter of the system choosing. Is it alphabetical? Is it, you know what I mean? Is it based on a quota? So we tend to quickly go over to your personal situation and see that, okay, Johnny got it, but I didn't. Mary got it, but I didn't. Failing to realize that you may not have fully complied with the totality of the requirements. And I know for a fact that in the beginning of the pandemic, the social welfare under the leadership of Peggy Andros was making an extra effort to get people to register. They had a very complicated system in the beginning. They simplified it just so that people could be accounted for amongst the numbers. So I always try to be fair and balanced when we're dealing with these things, because at the end of the day, let's take into account that nobody of the K1 have to do this.
That is true. That is true.
There is, you know what I mean? So a certain level of gratitude, you know what I mean? You might need 600 or 700, but only got 3. Somebody else got, but we cannot break it too down to the anecdotal cases, because if you put that in terms of a population, you're never going to satisfy 100%.
You are correct. That is correct. However, it is disheartening to see people that who obviously have jobs in uniforms and stuff. So they're working, and they're working full time, and then you who have to beg, and you who have to have a little douchey or side thing in order to survive, have to go to the supermarkets. Those are the things that flares one's emotions. So you
Again,
have to act.
yes, I understand. Again, the perception of how we see things. Again, and that's why us always do this. The guy in the uniform have a card, yes. I didn't see the ID that he gave the lady. I didn't see the name on the card. But you know what that for? Like for his mother. Because she live alone. He got a security job. He can't really afford to help her. But this is what he could do for her. He could pass, pick up the groceries, and drop them off for her. But we watching he with a card going, you see, that partner got a card. Me ain't got none. Did I verify that the card was his?
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Cedric.
You're
Thank you so
You're
much for
welcome.
your input and bringing some balance to this.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Have
this
a great day,
debate.
folks.
All right.
Brenda, buenos días.
Buenos
¿Cómo
días,
estás?
Cedric. Buenos días.
All right.
Okay, ciao.
Bye.
Wow. Brenda get all the action here on this morning program.
Sí.
Yeah. So, this was a very hot topic, ladies and gentlemen, and we're still seeing the ramifications of all what's happening. Okay?
Ok, un comentario aquí. Tengo de una persona que pregunta si los ilegales tienen registration form. No. Una persona ilegal no puede tener un registro form porque no ha tenido documentos para estar registrado en la isla. Ahora sí, estuvo documentos y perdió o se le vencieron y no ha podido, ok, puede que pueda conseguir un registro form. Ok, entonces me dice, es cierto, en una casa hay hasta 3 tarjetas. Y se burlan cuando le preguntan a uno como que, ¿cómo que tú no conseguiste? En mi casa tenemos 3.
Wow.
Entonces
Wow.
te estoy diciendo que hay...
Wow. Wow. I'll tell you one thing though, okay? What we have to, that thing with a supermarket attendant, let's say a cashier, telling someone, oh, you guys are living in the same house and you have 2 cards. I think that's absolutely wrong. You don't know the situation of these people. You don't know under which circumstances they're doing so. So let's put things into perspective. The good morning sounds special, Brenda Rodriguez de Allen. Of course, she always gets special good mornings. Ladies and gentlemen, we did have a hot topic this morning. I started off with, do you shop at one location or different locations? But the conversation ended up in a much more serious topic in which I got some clarity into the situation. Thank you so much for spending your extra time with us, where we appreciate it on the morning show, The World at 7. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. My name is Herbert Martina, telling you, ciao, peace.
Así es, señores, gracias a todos ustedes por haber estado en sintonía con El Mundo a las 7. Estaremos de vuelta con ustedes mañana, Dios mediante, así que pasen feliz resto del día y tempranito a las 7 los esperamos.